The big news yesterday from Shams Charania, of course, Joel Embiid undergoing arthroscopic surgery on his left knee next week. He was ruled out for the season a couple months ago in late February, and over the past couple months, him, the Sixers, outside doctors have been meeting to determine the next best path to get Joel Embiid back on the court for next season and to heal that knee injury. And now they've decided that this arthroscopic surgery is the way they're going to go. Shams says that Embiid will be reevaluated in 6 weeks after surgery, so 7 weeks from now, and is expected to make a full recovery. It will be Embiid's second surgery on that left knee. Over the last 14 months, of course, he had that surgery in January, February of 2024, rushed back for the playoffs, clearly wasn't healthy, played in the Olympics, and this year was just a disaster. So we're going to talk about the Embiid procedure that he'll be having moving forward. And this just dropped today as well from Shams that Tyrese Maxey is also going to be ruled out for the remainder of the season with that finger tendon injury he's been dealing with. Since March 3rd, he has been sidelined and he's been rehabbing it, trying to get back to play a little bit here at the end of the year, but he's been dealing with discomfort, needs treatment. There's been some videos of him working out and clearly just isn't right. That finger clearly still giving him some pain, so he will be shut down for the year. Going to talk about both of these injury updates and my reaction, especially to this big Joel Embiid news. But before I tell you what my reaction was, I want to know what your instant reaction was to the Embiid news when you saw that tweet from Shams pop up, or however you first saw that Embiid was having surgery. What was the first thought that crossed your mind? Let me know right now down in the comments section. For me, initially, my first reaction was, I'm just glad we finally got a plan set in place, because it had been taking a while now where we hadn't really heard anything outside of Nick Nurse about a week or so ago saying that they were very close to getting a plan done. So I'm just glad they finally figured out what they want to do moving forward. And then I, looked back over the tweet again and saw that Shams said that Embiid is expected to make a full recovery. And that's a lot to say, considering what Embiid has been dealing with over these past couple of years, where it seems like he's never fully healthy and he's never fully recovered. So for Shams to say in this tweet that he's expected to make a full recovery, that's big news. Now, of course, obviously the team's going to say that. They're not going to say he's getting surgery and then we'll see. He might be okay, he might not. They're going to say he's expected to make a full recovery. But based on this procedure, and we'll get into some of the details here, is it really realistic to expect him to make a full recovery? Shams also further explained some details of the Embiid surgery, saying for the past several weeks, Sixers and Embiid have been working towards a solution for the knee issues that have dogged him for more than a year, caused him to be ruled out for the season in late February. Those consultations with doctors and specialists ultimately led to the decision for Embiid to have surgery, with the hope being that he can get back to the level he had played at in prior seasons. So initially we got that Embiid is expected to make a full recovery. Now Shams is saying that the team expects him and hopes that with this procedure, he can get back to the level he had played at in prior years, that MVP level. And look, that's a lofty goal and a lofty bar to set for Joel Embiid given this surgery, especially because we still don't have full details on what the procedure is. We know it's an arthroscopic procedure, and if you know what that is, it's not like a full-blown surgery where they're cutting open the knee and getting in there. They're making smaller incisions to, look in the knee, look in the meniscus, see what's going on, tweak some things here and there depending on what the actual procedure is. But, this isn't some full-blown, he's going to be out for months and months type of surgery. So it's a little confusing to me saying that this is the procedure that's going to get him right when it's not a massive type of surgery. You're going with, a 6-week recovery time. Definitely a little bit confusing with what they're saying and then what the procedure might be. They also said that the goal of this procedure is to reduce the symptoms Embiid has had to deal with over the past year or so. Did not say that the goal of the procedure is to fix what's wrong with his knee. The goal is just to make sure he doesn't have as much pain, as much swelling, those types of things, so he can still get back out there on the court. This tells me that maybe they have not been able to find a procedure or surgery or something that can actually fix what's wrong. They can only find stuff that can make his pain lessen. And that's what they said at the beginning of this season. And clearly that didn't work out. Now, again, we'll see moving forward, 6 weeks from now, what the results are. But little bit concerning as we move forward here. Now, if you don't know, Dr. Brian Suterer, we've referenced him a few times here on the show, and he is a doctor who's very popular in the NBA circles and in the sports world in general. He has talked about Joel Embiid before, and he's usually been right about Joel Embiid as well. And he also raised some speculation regarding what the Sixers have announced this procedure will be for Joel Embiid. We'll get to that and some conversation on Tyrese Maxey in a second. But first, Phillies gear available now through our friends at Fanatics. Chatsports.com/Phillies25. Phillies are 4-1 on the year. And as I'm recording this right now, playing the Colorado Rockies in last night's game, Zach Wheeler was wheeling and dealing, baby. 7 innings, 1 earned run, struck out 10 guys, I believe. It was a vintage Zach Wheeler performance, and the Phillies off to a strong start this season. If you want to get yourself some new, fresh Phillies gear, go to our link, chatsports.com/Phillies25. Hoodies, hats, shirts, jerseys, and more, all available over there. I'll have that link in the comments section and the description of today's show. Again, that is chatsports.com/Phillies25. Use that link. That way Fanatics knows that Chat Sports sent you. All right, let's get to what Brian Suterer said. So he released a full 10-minute YouTube video on this topic, on Embiid's injury, and I watched the full thing, but this tweet he sent out really encapsulates everything he had to say in that video. Suterer on Twitter: how many arthroscopic surgeries have we been told will be a complete success for Embiid? It's been a few, yet issues keep persisting. The quick timeline suggests they will be just doing more of a cleanup/debridement, which rarely fixes things long-term. Short-term benefit, yes, but to act like this is going to turn his career around health-wise is being disingenuous to fans. And I think that's the main concern when you think about the way the Sixers have decided to move forward here, because they're not going with the big surgery. They're going with what they say will reduce the pain in Embiid's knee. But he's gone through this type of procedure before. And if you recall some of the things that Brian Suterer has said in the past that we've talked about on the show in regards to Embiid's knee, he doesn't really have like a singular injury that can just be treated by a procedure like this. He's had so many surgeries on the meniscus that it's more of a condition now at this point that one arthroscopic surgery is not going to fix. So there is certainly some concern here for the long term. Now, what is the short term and the long term in this case? We don't really know. In the past, Embiid's had procedures and he's been fine for a few months, maybe close to a full season, but then within a year, it just all comes back. So maybe there's more that they plan to do after this, but right now I think it's fair to question if we'll ever see Embiid back at an MVP level, like Shams had alluded to previously, because the way that they decided to go about this, and you look at the last 2 years now at this point, 39 games last year, just 19 games this year after 2 seasons of playing a large majority of the year. What is that? Quick math, 39 plus 19, 58 games combined over the last 2 seasons, ever since he's had to deal with that meniscus after Jonathan Kuminga fell on his knee during February of 2024. Look, I'm just skeptical that this is going to work. And of course, it's all just speculation right now, but with the condition that Embiid's knee is in, the procedure they're moving forward with, and honestly, a lot of what doctors online are saying, it's a little bit skeptical. And granted, maybe they found something that works. Maybe over the past couple of months, they've talked to plenty of doctors within the organization, outside of the organization, and they have a real plan that they know is going to work moving forward. But if I know anything about the Sixers, it's that this medical staff, you just can't trust them. They never seem to do the right things when it comes to injuries, and knowing their general luck as an organization as well, I'd be very surprised if they found something that they are confident can get Embiid back to playing full strength for the next couple of years. Now, I briefly alluded to this. Could there be another surgery down the line? Maybe they're thinking, get this arthroscopic surgery now, get in there, clean it up, so we can see what we really need to do in the long term. It's certainly possible. Not going to rule that out right now. And again, as I said, this is all just speculation, right? This is not just me, but hearing from doctors online and people around on social media talking about this and what could possibly be the next steps for Embiid. So, me saying I'm concerned about it and I'm worried about it, those are my opinions. Those are my feelings and my thoughts about this. We'll really have to wait and see what happens in the 6 weeks after the surgery for Joel Embiid and what the outcome of that is. But at the end of the day, I just want what's best for Embiid. I know a lot of people and a lot of Sixers fans are not fans of Joel Embiid, but the man has been through so many injuries and he's played through so much pain, yet he gets so much hate for being injured year after year after year. I just want him to be able to get back on the court, be healthy, and not go through the stuff he went through this year, because Embiid said this was a very tough year for him mentally. I'm just praying for the guy and hoping they can figure something out to get him back playing like his normal self again on the court. Before we get out of here, I want to talk about Tyrese Maxey as well, because this dropped earlier this morning from Shams that Maxey is going to be ruled out the rest of the year with his finger tendon injury. Again, it's been about a month now since he has last played and been trying to get it right to play again before the end of the year. But the discomfort you could see in videos of him working out recently, too much pain still, doesn't make sense for him to be out there on the floor. Absolutely the right call for the Sixers. Look, I get if he was healthy and the injury was no longer bothering him anymore, getting back out here and getting a few games in before the end of the season. Don't want to hold him out if he wants to play. He wants to be out there on the court. I know Sixers are trying to pretty much lose games at this point, but if he is still injured, there's no need to push him in what is meaningless games at this point in the season. Let him rest, let him recover, and just try to get healthy for next season. So that'll mark the end of Tyrese Maxey's 2024-2025 year, which certainly had its ups and downs towards the end of his season back in February, March. Really struggled to shoot the ball, but look, 26, 6-3. Efficiency was down from what it's normally been, but with everything that was going on with the team all year, guys in and out of the lineup, Paul George not playing well, obviously Embiid not being there was a lot on Tyrese Maxey's plate, and I thought he handled it pretty well. Let's just hope for some better health going into next year, and that's a tall task and a tall thing to ask for this 76ers team, and maybe it's not something realistic to ask for and to hope for, but at least for Maxey, Paul George, if he sticks around, and especially Joel Embiid because of how injured he has been, this team is just due a little bit of good injury luck, I hope. So now with Maxey, obviously Paul George and Embiid out for the season, hopefully they get extra time to rest up and try to do next year what they thought they would be doing this year and competing for a championship, because this year, an absolute disaster, one of the worst years I can remember as a Sixers fans, given what the expectations were. Do you believe that Joel Embiid can get back to MVP form? Do you believe the Sixers saying that he can make a full recovery and he can get back to playing how he was in the past? I don't really think I do, but you let me know what you think. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no down in the comments section right now. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that sub button, and we'll see you next time here on 76ers Now.